Hello everyone and welcome to match 5 of our friendly Pauper League. We're on the play. We have a keepable hand. Okay, things are going okay for us. Okay, things are looking up. 1 and 3 so far. We just lost the mirror to Stompy, but we're not going to let that deter us. We're going to go in, swinging green creatures at our opponent, and we're going to get to 2 and 3 here. I do think this league has probably showcase some of the deficiencies of the deck. It has no way to really start getting back into a game that they are behind in. I think that's why, Savage Swipe is the only way you can really start redressing that balance. And I think that's where the deck kind of suffers. If it had a sort of Thraben Inspector style creature, if that had been printed in green, I think then, yeah, Thraben Inspector, there you are. Then maybe you have a way to start drawing cards and getting back into the game. I know obviously drawing cards isn't a terribly green thing, but especially not in Pauper, but okay, so we're gonna go Burning Tree here. We're gonna have to get aggressive because this looks like Boros. So always yield. Always yes. Yup. So Burning Tree, Savage Swipe. Again, as we saw earlier against Boros and against Wizardry, we can't afford to play a long game against our opponent. They will start to outvalue us, but Boros can durdle quite badly early on. So if we can force through some early damage, get our Elephant Guy down quickly, we might be able to just bum rush our opponent, essentially, for want of a better term. It's really, I think, the only way we win against a deck like Boros that has so much card advantage over the course of time. Okay, another Ancient Den from our opponent. I mean, I am presuming they are Boros. There is... Okay, Navigator's Compass is kind of annoying. There is some chance that they are the like a mono white list or the white blue list I've seen running around recently. Well, let's see what they've got. Okay. So let's go Elephant Guide on our Burning Tree. I do it on the Burning Tree purely because it's always going to be untapped. Whereas we have to keep playing. We're going to get got here, aren't we? So it is Boros. And I think we're going to get the old 2-for-1 here. Yeah, they've chosen Mountain, so it's probably looking like Bolt or Galvanic Blast is the order of the day here. Galvanic Blast, okay, that's not great for us. Well, a very quick way to lose any momentum is to walk straight into a 2-for-1, so maybe not the best play there. I do think we had the right idea in that we're gonna have to get very aggressive early on. Okay. Oh, okay, so our opponent is the Jeskai Affinity deck, so it's kind of a amalgamation of the more traditional Affinity deck and some elements of the Boros deck. So they play things like Thraben Inspector and Skyfisher, and I think Aureox Sunchaser sometimes. There you are, Aureox Sunchaser. So they kind of play as a halfway point between the two. Okay, I think we're going to struggle here now. Yeah, I think we're pretty far behind here, unfortunately, now. Can't untap our Nelson without playing one of these spells for no value. How do we want to proceed with this? The answer is we probably don't. Okay. think we just pass the turn here. Can't attack. Don't think we want to play our Hungers for like a 1/1 counter that can, when they can still block with the Sun Chaser if they want to. We don't want to like double no value Hunger just to get him for 4 damage. Prism from our opponent. Yeah, so I think we're probably just too far behind now. I don't think there is much way we can start getting back into this matchup. Maybe we can draw a Ledge Walker and start getting it where it wants to be, but I don't think so. Even if we can get something like a Ledge Walker, they could still effectively block it with their Sun Chaser. Yeah. Yeah, I think unfortunately that Galvanic Blast was kind of a backbreaker for us. So our opponent's going to get in. Okay, we'll play out Riverboa. Hope for the best. Yeah, and taps on Nettle Sentinel if nothing else. Get in again with Nettle Sentinel. But yeah, I think we're going to struggle mightily here now. Draws a card. And again, that's the kind of play where, like, end of turn, you have nothing to do, so you just draw a card that this deck doesn't have. Like I said in the intro video, you probably see the first, like, 12 to 15 cards of your deck. Unless it's a super long game, maybe you see 20, but beyond that, you're just not seeing extra cards every turn. Like, even Bogles can start drawing extra cards with like Abundant Growth and things, so you can start cycling through your deck a little bit. Mono White Heroic will play some number of Secluded Steps, so obviously if you start flooding out, you can still cycle and draw cards. This deck doesn't really have that facility, so if you get out to an early start and they can't stop you, you generally just steamroller them. But it is... Oh, an ATOG as well, okay. It is generally quite easy for your opponent to deal with you if they can stymie you early. It's kind of one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of this deck, to be honest with you. I didn't want to run Affinity again like last week, so I wanted to run something different. And this deck is probably the one I have the next most experience with, and I get very good results with it in the tournament practice room, but not really when I go into leagues and you're playing a higher caliber of opponent. Yeah. So our opponent gonna get in for 3 here. Okay, so we can swipe our opponent's Sun Chaser. And play Hunger of the Howlpack on our Riverboa. Make that nice and big. I'm not going to attack this turn. You'd be tempted to try and attack in, but if they block either one of our creatures, we really don't have a lot of other creatures. I mean, It doesn't take much for them to just galvanic blast one of our creatures and then we're kind of just done for. Okay, so we'll get in maybe next turn. We can start attacking him with River Boa once we have some regeneration held up. What I don't want to do is... Oh, our opponent going to try and remove one of our creatures at the end of turn. Oh no, going to get to us directly. Okay, that's an interesting one. Presumably they'll have Fling or something in hand then. By the sounds of it. If it's Team or Battle Rage, we are kind of better off. Nah, it's going to be Fling by the looks of it. Already tapping red mana. There we go. Okay, well, we'll make them have it. A little sneaky side for anyone who plays me in the tournament practice room. I will bluff having Fling as much as I actually have it. The amount of people who see you tap 2 mana and then start sacking things and just scoop automatically is quite a lot higher than it probably should be, so always make your opponent have it before you start scooping up. But I do think our opponent will have it here, unfortunately. We should have a lot more game going into game 2, though. Yeah, opponent's paying cost. This is presumably Fling. And concede. There we go. Okay. Like I say, make him have it, but they did have it. We should do better going into games 2 and 3, though, because we do have all the Gleefuls in the world. So we're going to go down Elephant Guide, Vault Scourge, Rancor, and maybe 1 Hunger. So these are all cards that kind of get blown out in 2-for-1s, and Vault Scourge is just kind of dirtly and small, and they can block it with all their flyers. These cards are the cards that realistically can be backbreaking and might get us, help steal us a game. I think they have a lot more long game than us. They have a lot more powerful evasive threats than us. So realistically, the way we win is we curve out like Nettle Sentinel, Burning Tree Emissary, Gleeful Sabotage, destroy your land, and whatever other thing you've done turn 1. Hope they don't have too many other lands. That's kind of like what we're hoping to do here. Okay, well, it's not what we're going to end up doing. We have a solid playable hand, so we're going to play it out and see how we get on here. So, Nettle Sentinel. Pass the turn. What's our opponent got for us here? Big land Thraben Inspector, I would imagine. Navigate's Compass, okay. That's a thing. Okay, so we'll go. Oh no. No. Sequencing, as I said, is very important with this deck. Nettle Sentinel attack. There we go, sequencing. Always yield. Always yes. We do have another land. So we can potentially get our Elephant Guide out next turn, which is nice. And we would still have Vines of Vastwood backup for it. That's kind of the important side of it. If we get a 5/5 creature, I think we might be in with a chance. Because it's just going to be so difficult for our opponent to remove. See, if our opponent goes Great Furnace here and just holds up potentially 2 red mana, then probably we don't do that plan. Okay, Seat of the Synod. Or else Sunchaser. Sunchaser wouldn't be too bad for us here. We could Savage Swipe and Elephant Guide. Ooh, of course Skyfisher, okay. It's still not too bad for us. Kind of the same plan here. I mean, if we draw a lethal sabotage, we'll still probably just blow up both their lands. We did not, however, which is sad for us. So let's Savage Swipe their Core Sky Fisher. Sack that. Elephant Guide up our Nest Invader while we can. So now they're going to need multiple removal spells to deal with Nest Invader, and we still get a token out of it. Again, like we did earlier, you're always better off not to equip up your Nettle Sentinels if you can help it, because they are kind of awkward in that you keep needing to play green spells. So we're putting it down to 12 here. Gonna need to start doing something impactful soon. We can get Rancor down on our Nest Invader as well, which will be nice. Okay, Compass again, we kind of expected that. That is fine. Opponent up to 15. I can see another Skyfisher or a Sun Chaser again. Okay, I don't know what our opponent's taking so long to think through here. Maybe they have a Thoughtcast or something in hand. I'm just going to hold up mana by the looks of it. I don't exactly know what they're planning. Okay, another Savage Swipe's a good one for us. Okay, we'll play Rancor. Untap on Nettle Sentinel. Get in for another 9. Opponent only has one source of red mana, so they won't be able to... Okay, they'll be able to kill our Nettle Sentinel this turn. Yeah, they got a mountain here. Okay, we will... May as well cast it with Kicker. Does also untap on Nettle Sentinel, which is kind of nice. Don't tell me they have the Dispel as well. Oh, they do. Okay, gross. They have the Dispel. Well, those are the breaks, I guess. Sometimes your opponent just has everything they need. And in fact, in most of our games tonight, our opponents have had everything they needed. Hey, we're down to 1 creature. But they only have a couple of cards in hand to start dealing with it. We still have to be careful here not to attack into or Savage Swipe our opponent if they leave a red mana open. So they play like Sun Chaser here and leave red mana open with... Yeah, they do, okay. It's kind of awkward for us. Okay. Opponent's mountain. Okay. Crockland Shaman. That's interesting. Burning Tree makes this quite interesting. If we attack in, we do have trample as well. So even if they block here, they take 4, 3. Lose both their creatures. Go down to 5. Don't have any way to deal with us? That's an interesting play by our opponent. Okay, we'll play Burning Tree. And even if they can start playing blockers, we can get in still. Okay, and our opponent scoops it up. Ooh, okay. I'm not sure what our opponent was doing there, in fairness. I mean, I know obviously it's backbreaking to start sacking your own lands, but they managed to get some amount of damage onto our guy. I think, how much damage do they have on it by the end there? It's not going to show us. Is it 4 damage marked on it? Yeah, it would have been. So they would only have had to sack 1 artifact to kill off our Nest Invader. Would have left us with an elephant token, but I think might have been the way to maybe rescue it for them. But hey, we will take that. We're on to a game 3 here. For the first time in the league, actually. This is our first game 3. So we're going to hope for a good hand here. Interesting. Well, that's not ideally what we want to see turn 1 in fairness, but we're going to go Guardian Ranger. Hope they don't bolt it. I mean, even if they do, we can blow 1 of their lands, but it's a lot more optimal, obviously, if we can blow up 2. Do, however, have 2 Gleeful Sabotages, which is kind of nice. It's not the most powerful hand in terms of offense, but hopefully it'll be enough. I'm hoping our opponent doesn't have any... Okay. Prism. That's interesting. I think we actually want to go Nettle Sentinel, Nettle Sentinel, get those down, always yield, always yes, get those guys out. And we could have blown up like 1 of their lands or gone after their prism, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. It's not back-breaking enough, I don't think. So I think basically what we want to do here is go for multiple of their lands here. Okay, play a star. And we can do it over subsequent turns as well. So a Mirror Enforcer. Oh, okay, so we can actually get Mirror Enforcer as well, which would be kind of nice. If we take that and their Prism, I think first time around. Okay, so we're going to go Gleeful Sabotage, cast with Conspire. We're going to take out you. I'm going to tap both of these guys. And untap them again, ready to attack, which is kind of nice. And then we're going to go take care of their Prism. Takes care of that. We're going to go Hunger of the Howlpack on our Sentinel as well. I would do it on our Aquarian Ranger, but then it's still very much in range of Galvanic Blast and being blocked by 4/4s. So I think it's more prudent probably to do it on the Nettle Sentinel. It's not ideal, as I've kind of explained as we've gone through this, but it's kind of what we have to do here. So we'll get in for 8, put it down to 11. Next turn we nuke 2 of their lands. opponent plays another land. So they have all their colours again, which is nice for them. I'm rather hoping they play another Mirror Enforcer here, as their only kind of real blocker. Ooh, they do. Okay, Mirror Enforcer from our opponent. So if they don't play anything else here, I mean, what else can they play? They can probably play another Mirror Enforcer, Prism. What then do we want to go after? I think probably it's their blue mana, just to stop them from, because this deck plays Of One Mind and Thoughtcast, I think, so they do have the potential to draw a lot of cards and get back into this game. Okay, they're playing ATOG as well. It's not great for us. Okay. So, how do we want to play this? Okay, so I think we're going to go... untap that first so we can cast with Conspire. Go after that. Untap both of our dudes. And then go after the Seat of the Synod, I think, is the best other target. So they're going to eat both of them, which kind of makes sense. And that was always likely to happen, is that they just eat them and then form a big blocker, but they have been forced to eat them. So we'll play River Boa here. Opponent has an ATOG and really nothing else going on. Our opponent's going to have to start sacking their permanents if they want to block our creatures. And especially something like River Boa, we can put Rancor on it and still hold up multiple regenerations, so we might still be able to sneak a victory here. We're not going to attack this turn, just because they've obviously already eaten 2 artifacts and now a 5/6. It doesn't really behoove us to attack. The fact that we've kind of forfeited them, taken out 2 Mirror Enforcers, a blue mana, and a form of filtering helps us a lot. So they're going to get their last blue out. We always knew they still have access to blue, but obviously this just means they don't have access to repeatable blue mana unless they start spending mana to play prisms and to play... Okay, so they're going to play a Furnace. Thoughtcast. They don't have enough artifacts to fling or to Team of Battle Rage us. Even if they could play another artifact here, we can block effectively to stop them from Team of Battle Raging us. I do think we just have our opponent here. Our opponent's deep in the tank. trying to think what they can have that can get them back into this game. Obviously, if they can start playing stars or prisms and... Okay, Navigator's Compass will buy them a little bit of time. And actually, yeah, that fixes their mana, so that is good for our opponent. And a Fisher, okay. So they are starting to get some creatures out there as well. Okay, so we're going to go Rancor on our River Boa. Get in. Opponent's going to take their 4 down to 10. There was some consideration to attack him with the 2 Sentinels, but then obviously they chump 1. They eat 1, I should say, and then probably eat the other one. Or they might do by just eating a couple of artifacts. I don't think it's probably worthwhile. Okay, so Navigator's Compass probably comes back down early on here. Yup, there's our Navigator's Compass from our opponent. Unfortunately, that core Skyfisher being an effective blocker does make our life a lot more difficult. When it was just ATOG, we were in a very commanding position. This really has helped them stabilize quite a bit. It decentivizes us from attacking with multiple creatures other than obviously our River Boa. We were very much on the verge of winning this one, but I think they are starting, unfortunately, to stabilize here. So they're going to name Island here, I would imagine. Yeah, so they're going to start drawing cards now, I would think. Are they just going to pay full retail for Of One Mind, maybe? Or are we going to see a nice, cheap Thoughtcast? Nice 1 mana draw too, maybe. Okay. So play another Rancor on our River Boa. Our opponent holding priority in our turn here. I'm going to get in with River Boa again. Again, not going to go in with the Net Sentinels just because they can effectively be blocked by these two. They're going to have to start obviously sacking artifacts to do that, and I don't know whether they would, but... Okay, so they are going to block there. That's fine. They're going to have to eat 3 artifacts here if they want to block it and survive. And even then I don't lose my River Boa, I just regenerate it. Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't make a ton of sense for our opponent to do that there. I have to sack basically like 2 lands and a Navigator's Compass, or just 3 lands. Doesn't make a lot of sense for our opponent there. I'm really thinking hard about this. Now into the red on time. I mean, that's not going to matter in a ATOG deck. They're not going to time out here. They're not going to win that way. Opponent has played this game pretty slowly, but they are probably going to be able to win out reasonably effectively. Now I could have untapped my Riverboat at the end of turn and been more efficient in terms of having 3 mana open, but I want to do it in their turn to surprise them if we can do. I'm going to get in with Core Skyfisher, that's interesting. So presumably they have another blocker they can play. You have to imagine they're going to play another blocker here. Because otherwise we just attack with everything and win. Oh, they're going to start balling down. Okay, so they have another Skyfisher. Okay. Putting down to nearly 4 minutes now, so they're going to have to hurry up a little bit here. I'm going to presumably pick up a land here, or do they pick up their compass and replay it? Probably that's what they do here, is pick up the compass, play it again. Only leaves them 1 open mana. I don't think that's the biggest issue for them at the moment. I mean, the biggest issue is they're going to time out if they don't hurry up here. Opponent really tanking on what they want to return to their hand. I mean, it could be a situation where they've played their Skyfisher up without thinking what they're going to return, and now they're kind of wondering whether it leaves them the available options. Yeah, they're going to play their compass again. Okay. Kind of expected that. Go up to 10, that's fine. 1 open mana now. Elfin Guy's interesting. But a trap, I think. Okay. I think that's probably a trap here. I don't think we want to do that. We can do it with Korean Ranger and leave open 1 regeneration. They only have 1 mana. But it only takes us to 9 here, and they can still block with ATOG and things. So I don't think we want to do that. I think we want to leave up as many regenerations as possible, because what they might do is block with ATOG, sack a couple of things. We are now going to start getting in with our Nettle Sentinel as well. Because they can block, get in with a couple of things. So block, eat a couple of things to make it bigger, then potentially Galvanic Blast it as well if we only have 1 regeneration available. So we're attacking for 11 here, so we are presenting lethal to our opponent, so they are going to have to answer this in some form or fashion. Both of our creatures can't be killed that I can think of. Our opponent's deck, we've seen Galvanic Blast so far, doesn't do it to either of our creatures. They can Gal Blast us, we have to regenerate, which would remove it from being an attacking creature. So they would kind of benefit in that way, I guess, but our opponent is really slow rolling. They're down to like nearly 2 minutes here. They're going to have to hurry up. I have to say, at least this has been the most probably thought-provoking, challenging gameplay so far. A lot of the matchups we've played have been very quickly over, very decisively over. Okay. So our opponent doesn't have a play. They just chump, take 6, down to 4. 4 cards in hand, so I don't know entirely what they could have. Compass up their Ancient Den. Naming Blue, probably. Yes, naming Island. So, of one mind, yeah. Draw 2 cards, only have 1 mana available. So they can't fling. Oh, we're not in fling range, they can't fling us anyway. Our opponent must just be dead here. They have 1 mana open. Okay, I'm probably going to go to combat. We're down to 59, 58 seconds now. But it's important not to let that affect the way we play. We can't just expect our opponent to time out here. We have to play as optimally as possible still. Which means we are going to tap 1, untap our dude, turn a land, play that. Use that on regeneration shielding. Do we do it before combat? There was some call to whether we put Vault Scourge in there, but I don't think that really does enough for us. I think we do just win here because we can attack. If we attack with everything, even if they block multiple creatures, the only way they really win, or the only way they come out of this without losing, is to bolt one of our creatures down. So we have a regeneration shield anyway, so that's fine. Takes out of combat, unfortunately. If they block 2 of our creatures now, we don't just win. Which is presumably what they're going to do. Block that. And block that. Okay. They'll start sacking artifacts if they want to keep Atog alive as well, which they have done. Okie dokie. Okay, they no longer have a flyer though, so we are gonna give our Nettle Sentinel some more steroids. Up to an 8/8. And I still think we don't want Vault Scourge. I think we're better off leaving up 2 regenerations here. Okay, so our opponent sacks an artifact. And we get the game on time. Okay. I think we would have won anyway, time or not, but I think we'll take it on time. Our opponent played pretty slow there, but I think we were able to eke out the early tempo we gained from our lethal sabotages. I think having 2 of them, runner was enough to give us an advantage to generate board presence. So there we go, guys. That is our league with Stompy. We finished 2 and 3, which is a little bit disappointing to be honest with you, but we did run into some tricky matchups for the deck. I'm really happy to have beaten Burn because that's not generally a great matchup I've found for the deck. I did say obviously in the intro that I've looked to replace Weather the Storm. Weather the Storm proved its worth there, so that was an interesting data point for me to take into account. Obviously, we lost the Mirror to Stompy pretty convincingly. We lost to Boros, which is generally a bad matchup for us anyway. But hey, as I say, 2 and 3, not the best. But hey, we have got through the league. Like I said in the intro, we are going to be running a straw poll. So in the YouTube description, in the Reddit thread that I post, there will be a straw poll linked for you guys to vote what deck you want to see me play next. And unless it's something that's super expensive that I can't afford, I will play it. I will list all the decks that I already have, and then I will give people, if there is an option with it, with straw poll, to write in suggestions for other decks they want to see me play. So feel free to vote if there's a specific deck you want to see me play. And I will talk to you guys soon.